What's up, everybody? It's me, Jrod, the filmmaker, former film major, frequent fighting gamer from Philadelphia, and we are back with another You Feel Me video. And for this one, this is a special one. We are going to review HBO Max. This is my first time reviewing an entire streaming service, but I don't think it'll be my last. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So last year I made a video guide to the streaming wars, or the content wars. And if you haven't seen it, I'll link it down in the description below, as well as add a card up the top so you can check it out. But if you haven't seen it, the streaming wars is just the major production studios fighting for dominance in video streaming services. This war is also known as the content war because what these video streaming services are fighting with is content. Now, when I made that video, there were a lot of streaming services that either just launched or were about to launch. You got DC Universe, Apple TV, and Disney Plus, which were all brand new at the time. But now we could say that they're household names. There was one streaming service, however, that continued to pique my interest as they acquired little franchises here and there, and they announced new content. And that streaming service in question is HBO Max. Now, I've been excited about Max almost since it was announced. I love HBO shows. I mean, you got shows like Insecure, Euphoria, Watchmen, Barry, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, High Maintenance, Betty, Westworld, Black Lady Sketch Show, The Righteous Gemstones, Los Espookies, Avenue 5, Random Acts of Flyness, and the list goes on. Honestly, I would be here forever talking about all the HBO shows that I like. If you had HBO, then you'll know that they archive all of their classic shows. So if you ever wanted to go back and watch The Sopranos, I even myself went back and watched the Spawn animated series right before Spawn came to Mortal Kombat 11. So originally there was HBO Go if you had a subscription to HBO on TV, but you wanted to watch it on the go. And then there was HBO Now if you didn't have that TV subscription, but you still wanted to watch HBO programming. So now that HBO Max has been officially launched, it'll replace HBO Now. And some people who had that HBO subscription on TV will also be able to enjoy HBO Max. That's how I got it. However, HBO Max has much more than just HBO shows, many original programs, as well as programs that they curated from other streaming services. So, to review HBO Max, I decided that I had to watch at least one show from each of their special categories. And those categories are DC, Sesame Workshop, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Turner Classic Movies, Crunchyroll, Studio Ghibli, and the Looney Tunes. So for DC, it was an easy choice. I just rewatched my favorite DCEU movie, which is Wonder Woman, and I also watched one of my favorite DC original shows from DC Universe, which is Doom Patrol. And Doom Patrol is now an HBO Max original. And I was skeptical at first, but I think that they handled this transfer from DC Universe to HBO Max really well. You can watch Doom Patrol on either service if you have it. You can watch it on HBO Max or on DC Universe. And the second season just started, so if you haven't checked it out, I would advise that you check it out. Next, there's Cartoon Network, and honestly, I thought I was just gonna go in and rewatch something like Adventure Time or Regular Show, two shows that I loved watching when I was younger, but I found a new favorite cartoon on Cartoon Network, and it's called Craig of the Creek. I've actually wanted to watch Craig of the Creek for some time. I've seen an episode on TV and I've seen some clips on the internet, including one where Craig and his dad are playing fighting games, which I thought was really cool for a modern cartoon to do. But when I started watching the show, I found out early that this is a banger. I mean, it's probably the first Cartoon Network show I've ever seen with a black lead character, and I feel like it's the spiritual successor to shows that I loved like Recess and Codename Kids Next Door, some of my favorite shows of all time. And then next after Cartoon Network, we have Adult Swim. And again, I didn't really need help choosing what to watch on Adult Swim because they have The Boondocks. And do I even need to preface The Boondocks, or does everyone out there know how culturally significant this show is? I mean, if you don't, I'll just say this. Rewatch The Boondocks or watch it for the first time now, and you will swear that it was a show that was written last year. It was so ahead of its time, and there's supposed to be a new series and special, but I feel like the fate is up in the air for now, so I'll just wait and see. Then I knew that for Studio Ghibli and Crunchyroll, I was gonna end up watching something new because I'm not the biggest anime fan. I mean, I have some animes that I do love, but I mean, I'm pretty new overall to watching anime. So for Studio Ghibli, I watched a movie called Ocean Waves. It was like a teen drama, sappy type of movie. It was a little bit boring, I'll be honest, but it looked fantastic. And Studio Ghibli has a huge catalog, so I'll definitely have to go back and check out some of their other ones. And for Crunchyroll, I watched Food Wars. And Food Wars, they only had the 4th season, I think, so there was definitely some stuff that I missed, but I thought it was a hilarious show, and I'm definitely gonna go back and watch some more episodes of Food Wars. And then after that, we have Turner Classic Movies. TCM is another huge catalog on HBO Max, and I watched 2001: A Space Odyssey, but they also have Akira Kurosawa's Lone Wolf and Cub films, which I'm gonna have to go back and watch because the Samurai Kurosawa films serve as the basis for the Jedis in Star Wars, and Lone Wolf and Cub is kind of directly responsible for The Mandalorian. It's like a Star Wars adapted version of Lone Wolf and Cub, so I would love to see the original source material that one of my favorite shows is based off of. Now, Looney Tunes actually has a good amount of options under their studio. They have the classic Looney Tunes cartoons, but they also have the Looney Tunes Show, which is a sitcom style show that came out back in 2011. Then they have the new Looney Tunes that came out in 2015, which is a skit style show closer to the original classic Looney Tunes. But now they have the Looney Tunes cartoon. I'll just preface this with, I would have gotten HBO Max even if it just had classic Looney Tunes, because Looney Tunes is one of my favorite cartoons ever. I used to spend like all my time in high school waking up early at like 5 or 6 just to catch some Looney Tunes episodes before I got ready for school. Yeah, I mean, the episodes that I was watching on Boomerang at the time don't even compare to how many episodes are on HBO Max. So there are probably hundreds of episodes that I have not even seen yet, and I'm so excited. Then there's also Looney Tunes Cartoons, which is their newest adaptation of Looney Tunes, specifically for HBO Max. And it gives you everything updated the way you would expect. You got higher resolution, HD content, you have higher frame rate, but the animation style reflects those classic Looney Tunes. And it features those 5 to 10 minute shorts, just what you would expect from Looney Tunes. And I was honestly very impressed with the Looney Tunes cartoon. Similarly to Looney Tunes, you also have Sesame Workshop. And this category features Sesame Street. You've got the classic Sesame Street, the HBO version of Sesame Street, and you even got an original show called Elmo's Not So Late Show, which is a late night talk show where Elmo has to interview someone and introduce his musical guest before his bedtime. And yes, it is as cute as it sounds, especially the fact that almost all of the crew and 90% of the audience are also puppets. So those are all of the categories on HBO Max, but that is not even half of the things that they offer. There are some shows that are their own categories, like Friends, Search Party, South Park, and The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Personally, I've been waiting years to be able to stream The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's a show that I grew up on. I used to watch it all the time when I came home from school, and this is my first opportunity to actually watch the entire show from start to finish in its intended order, and I can't wait. I'm gonna do it very soon, actually. And in addition to everything that I already mentioned, there are a handful of Max original shows like Anna Kendrick's show, Love Life. There are animated shows like one called Esme and Roy and Summer Camp Island. There's an Adventure Time spin-off called Adventure Time Distance Plans that features BMO, one of the favorite characters. Reality competition shows like Legendary, Karma, and Craftopia, original documentaries like On the Record. And then there's also a bunch of shows that have either been green-lit or announced that are coming soon still. This list features some heavy hitters. You got shows like DMZ coming from Ava DuVernay. Issa Rae has a new show coming out called Rap. Marlon Wayans signed on to develop new projects, as well as Mindy Kaling and Elizabeth Banks. A Gossip Girl reboot is in the works. The Snyder Cut of the Justice League is supposed to be coming next year. Mahershala Ali and Spike Lee have HBO films that were recently announced. You've got Lovecraft County, which is coming in August. You've got future seasons of shows that I love, like Insecure and Euphoria and Barry. And then you have shows like Michelle Coel's I May Destroy You, which is on HBO right now, and it is great. Like I said in my Content Wars video, this battle for dominance in video streaming just means that we're gonna get a lot more content, and HBO is trying to come in and be one of the top competitors in the entire market. So they had to hit the ground with this massive library of content. And I trust HBO because I've been watching their shows for years, and they have so many different shows that I can say are my favorite shows. I mean, also another thing to look is that the diversity of this library is pretty great. I mean, you've got like Adventure Time and The Boondocks on the same streaming service, and you've got Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Insecure on the same streaming service. And I just think that that is actually crazy. Even if you look at a category like DC, you have Watchmen, which is a DC show, and you have Doom Patrol, which is a DC show, and they couldn't be more starkly different. And just, I think that diversity is one of the things that makes HBO Max great. So if you are wondering whether or not HBO Max is worth it, is worth the $16.99 or $15.99 a month that it is, I would personally say that yes, it is definitely worth it. They have a huge library of content that I have not even been able to fully explore yet. So that's gonna be it. I definitely think that HBO Max is great. Like, comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe, guys. We're getting closer and closer to hitting those 100 subscribers before the year is out. Also, tell me if you guys want me to do another one of these videos. I could review Netflix or DC Universe or Hulu or anything else that is out there. And yeah, maybe I'll just check back in on HBO Max once some of these new announced shows are out, and I can review some new originals. I can review the Snyder Cut. Who knows, man? We shall see. There's so much new content. I can't wait to make content on it. So guys, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.
This is fun for the whole family. On your left!
Hey! Nice family, loser.
People make too big a deal about test scores. Candace is fine.
I wrote my name.
Friday night?
You drinking it?
Uh-huh. Thanks for letting me pretend like I have enough free time to go to a concert. We're totally gonna kill it at the presentation.
Make those other kids' patches look like S-H-I-T.
Are you guys falling?
Those teachers are good.
I'm not supposed to have candy.
Okay. Are you? Candace, be careful! Stop doing it! No! Choose your words!